Hey, Damon, I think we're live, dude.
We're live.
And thank God it's Monday. How was your weekend?
It was awesome.
And why was it so awesome?
I got to go to the football game with my son, and we won, and we made it into the playoffs.
Nice. And
Barely.
Who's your team? Just think like Detroit Lions had to put you in.
Yeah, take the Lions for us to get there.
Right. And Broncos. So speaking of the Broncos, well, we'll get into that in a second. So
yeah,
Damon, dude, all right. Our show is called Manufacturing Monday Motivation. Man, did we bring in like the two best guests for motivation? I don't know. You guys do that word of the day thing, word of the year thing, whatever. So all right, my word is 2 words, so I can't count. But 2 words. It's radical gratitude. We talk about that all the time. Damon, I'm telling you right now, dude, when you are done with this program, you are going to be consumed in radical gratitude after you get done talking to Summer and Shane. Now, Summer and Shane, it's almost like a rock band that we have here today. It's like, what a great name of a band. We'll have to talk about that. But I have Summer Sorensen-Bain. We have Shane Barber in the house. Summer, I'm starting with you. How are you, my friend? Happy New Year. How are things?
I am good, Kurt. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Shane Barber is here. Shane, how are you, dude? Happy Monday.
Doing good. Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
My honor and privilege. Now, Shane, I have to tell you this, dude. Talk about radical gratitude. I am so thankful I don't have your last name. That would be very embarrassing if a guy like me, Shane Barber. Did you get it, Damon? So, all right. Anyway, let's dig in. So, Summer, you are manufacturing rock star, literally from like the start of your career. Am I close?
Yeah. No, I started working with the MEP, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, when I was in college. So I literally, my whole career has been manufacturing.
So let's take it one step further back, if we could, Summer. So when you were a little girl growing up, sweet little girl, you remember those days, right? My remember those days, right? Sweet little girl. Who was your hero growing up? Who was your hero that led this great, illustrious career in manufacturing? Who was Summer's hero?
Honestly, I was one of those people that I changed my degree 4 different times. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And when I got into college, I did a variety of internships trying to figure out who I wanted to be.
Yep.
And I ended up settling on getting a degree in business with emphasis in information systems, because I thought with that combination, I could get a job anywhere.
Right. Yep.
And then I interned with the MEP in Colorado, and I thought manufacturing was pretty cool. I love seeing how things are made every day. I love seeing the magic behind the products that we use. And I don't think people have a true understanding of what it takes to make something that is an everyday use item. So I fell in love with it, didn't ever want to get out of it.
Was there a particular person, anybody that you would, a family member, friend, mentor, coach, teacher, professor, anybody that you would say was your hero?
Well, my mom's my hero, but not because of manufacturing. She grew up as a farmer, and they made stuff every day to get the job done. Yes. So I guess you could tie it back there, but she's definitely one of my heroes for sure.
That's awesome. What's mom's name?
Janie.
All right. Big shout out to Janie. Hopefully she's watching at some point in time. So Janie, Happy New Year. Thank you for what an inspiration Summer is. Shane, my friend, I'm going to throw the same question at you. Great career, dude. You've been at Intel, manufacturing basically your whole career, IT side, just bringing your superpowers to the table. Little boy growing up, who was your hero?
This is easy. Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh my God. That was yours, wasn't it?
In one episode, he could take the General Lee and turn it into a 4-wheel drive and then have it dismantled and into a full-blooded, streetcar.
Yeah.
I want
to racer the next scene.
Right?
Yep.
So, all right, man, drop the mic on that.
I'm telling you.
What program's over. We're just
we're done
right now. Dude, Shane,
Shooter.
Best answer. Right. We have never had that answer. And now anybody under the age of 45 is probably saying,
no idea.
What are these guys talking about? Right. So, all right, Cooter. What a great answer.
But I'll give you my hero. I'll give you my real heroes. My high school welding teacher. The reason I jump in really fast, I've been welding since I was, middle school. and he inspired me. His name is Richard Hazy. He is out of New Mexico. I've been trying to get a hold of him for over a decade. And as we go forward with this conversation today, you'll probably see why. But he inspired me to go on to be certified as a welder, go on to college, go into manufacturing. And I just recently have been building my own home out of metal. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I need to find him. I've driven to his address, dropped a letter. I had that homeowner send me a letter back. Hope you find him. So Richard Hazy, if you are out there, anybody knows him from Los Alamos, New Mexico, I would love to get a hold of him. So that's my hero.
That's our ask. All right.
Awesome.
So we're putting it out there to the universe, guys. If you know Richard Hazy, man, please have him drop a note, an email, a postcard, even a fax, whatever it takes, right? So, hey, we've got some friends here. We got a great manufacturer, our friend Bonnie in Manhattan. Bonnie, Happy New Year, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Diane is in the house. Diane's with TAC. So, Summer, you know TAC. You know, she's in the Mid-Atlantic TAC. And, of course, we got my buddy Michael Rigo. Michael, happy Monday. Happy New Year, my friend. I absolutely love it. And he shares a shout-out to Cooter. So that is absolutely awesome. So, all right, we've got Summer, we've got Mom as your hero and just this wonderful career in manufacturing. Shane, shout out to Cooter and your welding professor, teacher. That is great. Summer, let's go here. So you mentioned the MEP. Boy, you worked at, you know what? You're so cool in manufacturing. You worked at Manufacturer's Edge before it was Manufacturing's Edge.
Oh, yeah. No, we went through 2 name changes in the time that I worked there. We started, Kurt, not many people know this. When the MEP started in the West, we didn't start as a single state. We had a 4-state region. So we had Missouri, Kansas, Wyoming, and Colorado. Nice. And we all worked together to strengthen enough that we could then become our own state center. Right. So I started when we were MAMTech, and it was a 4-state region out of Kansas.
Wow. Okay. So intern out of college, right?
Yep.
And so we just interviewed a Gen Zer. She's 21, 22 years old at IMEC. Same exact story. And she talked about her hero was her Aunt Kathy, worked at IMEC, the Illinois MEP for years. And here she was Summer, she's Summer of 2022. How's that? That's awesome. Summer, talk about like how, share with folks out there, what is the MEP? Just the benefits, the incredible resource that the MEP Manufacturing Extension Partnership, that critical role that they play for manufacturers in the U.S. and specifically in Colorado.
Yeah, sure. The MEP stands for the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. It's a federal program out of Commerce. There's one center in every state and in Puerto Rico, and their whole mission is to strengthen and grow the manufacturing within their communities. So they are a resource that helps with everything from cybersecurity, supply chain, to internal process improvements and growth challenges. So contact your local MEP. They're a great resource that I think is a great secret to the world. They're trying to get their message out there, but it's hard when you're one entity within an entire state to get that traction.
Right. And you had a great career. I mean, like you stepped your way up. And I think before you moved on, transitioned to a new entrepreneurial career, you were the COO. Do I have that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I was the COO of Colorado.
Just share a little bit of just some of the wins, just, why you were so passionate, why you stayed there for so long. Just share a little bit of like your experience working there.
Sure. As a intern, so I graduated. This is going to date me a little bit. I graduated right before Y2K. So as I mentioned, my degree, business with emphasis in information systems. So I was one that was going to go save the world when the clock turned.
Yep.
And so I was brought into the MEP to provide support during the transition in programming. I did website design, database programming.
And I'm sorry, and you saved Y2K, right?
I single-handedly. Yes,
I
saved our banking system. Nothing crashed. We all woke up and it was another day.
I had to interject on that.
Yeah, so that was my beginning of my career. And so I started as a service provider doing client projects that were primarily around IT-based activities, software selection, those types of things. Right. And then over time, as Y2K became lesser so of an issue, I got into more of the account management, business development side. got to spend a lot of time traveling around Colorado in all corners. Shane will say, I know my way around every back street in every city because of knowing where the manufacturing pockets are.
He's been in every manufacturing slum you can find.
I love them. I know all the side streets and I can navigate them well.
Nice.
So then I went from doing account management to being the director of our sales team, and then transitioned to the COO, where I had sales, delivery, marketing, and I did a lot of our federal reporting.
That's fantastic. And so, and we're gonna dig into how you took those superpowers and then decided to throw on your entrepreneurial hat. And now you have the business excellence group. But Shane, let's slide over to you, my friend. Sure. So great career. You kick things, start, go back to, you're done watching Dukes of Hazzard. Yep. And you decided maybe went off to college, or I'm not sure if that played a role in like how you selected your college choice. But as you moved on and you had a great career at Intel, talk a little bit like what attracted you to manufacturing, your early stages of career, what went on there towards manufacturing?
Yeah, manufacturing's running in my blood. My great-grandfather had a steel stamping plant in Ohio going into World War. And so they tooled up, they went away from stamping oil filter casings for Purolator to bomb casings and employed 3 towns. And so there's a long DNA of manufacturing. I was always a tradesman, raised by tradesmen, got certified as a welder out of school, and I just wanted more. And so I went back in, got a degree in production operations management, targeted Intel Corporation in my hometown. And I did early beginnings. I was about 23 years old, playing industrial engineer, laying out new areas. And I found myself spending a lot of time on process improvement, but I had a knack for the people quotient as well. And so as I grew up through Intel, I managed floors, production floors, and then led them. And I had the highest performing shift in one factory, mega factory. Nice. So each shift was 660 people, 3.5 football fields of clean room. And I had the highest performing shift of any factory in the world. We were 20% above safety, quality, cost, output, and employee morale. Nice. And I went to a night shift to experiment on culture and how to drive a culture within a culture. Really, I went to hide. I got sick and tired of corporate culture. I got tired of faster, better, cheaper, or else. Went to a night shift instead of quitting. Got results, and all of a sudden, I got all the spotlight. I didn't want it. I just wanted to hibernate. I wanted to hide because I knew I was leaving. I was fortunate. I stayed as long as I did, but it put me on a global path of the person that was the CEO after I left. He ran all the manufacturing. He'd call me up and say, we got a people or a process problem in Malaysia. I need you to drop in, make it your idea, put a system in place, and have them invite you back. Politics. But I did that. I did that 42 weeks a year on average, flying around, and then I left. The joke before that was, instead of firing Barber, they moved me into HR. Right? They're like, let's not fire this loose canyon. Let's put him into HR. He'll quit. He'll give us the gift. Right. And so I soaked up even further all the people process stuff I was doing. I formalized it. And then I stepped out over a decade ago and started doing people and process improvement. And most manufacturers, most companies spend all their money and time on process improvement because they don't want to work on the people. But what makes you feel that people are less complex than an MRP system, less complex than a manufacturing system? So I honed that craft. I worked around MVPs in that time frame in New Mexico. Shout out to Jennifer Sensabaugh. Great partnership there. The MEP director there, CEO. And then she got me in front of Summer, and the rest was history. We worked together, and then we generated our straight 6 model together, and here we are. We optimize people and process through a deliberate system that we certify, teach, and train other MEPs
on. Okay. Man, is this all right? How's it? Here's a little. Diane gives a shout out. Definitely contact your MEP. So, all right. So, for anybody out there, they're like, geez, what are you guys talking about? So, if Summer, Shane, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I always say, like, hey, whoever's living in the White House at that time, and you're here, like, hey, we have a bunch of federal funds going to manufacturers. Typically, those are being funneled through the MEP network, and then what that it's just you guys. That's when magic happens. So as you mentioned, Summer, there's an MEP in all 50 states plus Puerto Rico. And so now you have subject matter experts, just like, I mean, Damon, how about that story, dude?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
So, all right, before I jump into that, Shane, it begs a question. So somebody's out there, they're a corporate warrior, been working for somebody else for many, many years. Dude, what was it like for you to leave that corporate safety umbrella, if you will? And I realized like maybe you were in a different place because like you were frustrated or sounds like a little burnout. But what was that like leaving that paycheck and that corporate umbrella to be your own entrepreneur?
Well, it's a huge risk, right? You leave decent pay, great benefits,
Right.
1 mile from where I grew up, right?
All the resources, right?
Yeah, I wake up one day and I'm like, we're going to start streamlining our expenses because I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And so stepping out onto your own shingle. Luckily, I had started up a consulting firm a year prior with a partner, and so that was running. And I built my office out the same day I left, 1 mile away, and so I had some security, but I didn't know how to. I was consulting internally, but that's easy. That's easy. Anybody that does that internally, hey, sure, fly out here, whatever. And I find myself working with small to medium manufacturers, 5 people to maybe 25 when I was used to working at a 110,000 person company. And I was known as, somebody that had some skill. And I step out and it's like, how am I going to talk differently? So I started meeting in coffee shops, listening to small, not just manufacturers, because there wasn't many at the time in New Mexico. It started to dwindle as Intel went down on its investment in New Mexico. So I started saying, anywhere there's people, anywhere there's process, I can optimize your business and get a different result. And drawing on a napkin, the predecessor of our model, and convincing folks in 45 minutes, building a relationship, learning their pain, diagnosing it live, and then asking them, do you feel that this issue you have needs to go unattended? How long has it lasted? I've been dealing with this for 2 years. Why don't we end it? Why don't we go put a process and get your people rallied around that? And off I went. It sounds easy, but man, it took me 3 years to build a book of business, 3 years to build a reputation. When I left one, and I remember about 8 to 10 months later, my wife's like, would you ever go back to Intel? I was like, never mention that again. Great company, awesome culture, but I was not, in case you can tell, I'm a little bit of a rogue kind of guy, and I had learned everything I wanted in that kindergarten of skills, and I was ready just to break out. But much easier to work internally as a lean consultant, a process consultant, and then you step out and it's, where did I just go? So pretty big challenge. You got to think on your feet nonstop and innovate all the time.
Oh, dude, man,
it's like going from the desert to the jungle.
Oh,
it's like, where the hell am I?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, man, you know what, Summer, it's great that you finally got Shane to come out of his shell. Like it was just,
it's a challenge.
He's very introverted, and he finally got out of his shell. But I absolutely love what you guys are talking about. And again, if there's a manufacturer out there, catching us, and they're like, this MEP, manufacturing extension partnership, and just when you're hearing this dynamic duel right now, and you talk about the wealth of information of like how Summer came in as an intern and climbed the chain and just passionately working. She knew every Colorado manufacturer and every nook and cranny of the entire state. Shane comes in with just, where else do you get intel expertise into like your 20-person manufacturing operation? And this is what you guys bring to the table. I think this is awesome. All right, let's jump into your entrepreneurial journey. Just magic happens when you two come together. Can you just share like what happened where you're like, hey, we're really working well together. Let's start this entrepreneurial journey together. And then let's dig into your entrepreneurial launch that you had.
Yeah. So Shane, as he mentioned, he was introduced to me through Jennifer, who's down in New Mexico.
Yep.
I was looking for somebody that could work on a project in Durango, Colorado, it's easier for New Mexico to serve Durango than for Denver to serve Durango. Mm-hmm. And so Shane went in to work on that project, and he and I we just clicked. I can take Shane's brain and make it practical in MEP speak, and he works his magic when it comes. And you put him in front of a company and he can relate to every size because he's run his own welding company of a handful of people all the way up to working for Intel. So Shane can scale the concepts to whatever size of company he's helping consult.
Nice.
I have. All right. So let's do that. Damien, you love when I do this. So I'm going here right away. Okay. So Summer, are you sitting down? Okay.
I am sitting down. What are you going to do?
You ready?
I'm standing up. I'm just really short.
This is what a couple people say about Summer and Shane when this rock star team. Having worked closely with Summer at CAMT for 5 years, I've repeatedly been impressed by Summer's integrity, interpersonal communication skills, ability to tackle any problem. Summer's unwavering commitment to her clients is evident by her long-term relationships, ensuring, let's see, I'm going to jump ahead here. She says, I count myself lucky to work side by side with Summer. And then Shane gets the same thing. Shane has helped us build strategy for a new division. His work with us was amazing. In 3 short hours, I felt we achieved the results of a 1-week retreat. He has an amazing ability to synthesize and get to the heart of the matter. He's an incredible business resource, large or small. And so, again, there's just like on and on of those types. So you guys come together. So I realize that there's magic. So Shane, I'll come over to you. What was a day where you guys having coffee? Were you on the phone where you said like, hey, let's start our own band and we're going to do our own thing? What was that like?
Well, sometimes you got to blow things up before you put it back together is what I often say. So we'll leave that there. But I think we just got to a point. We developed, co-developed the system, the predecessor of the system. We call it the straight 6 critical cylinders that will make any engine run: strategy, structure, people systems, lateral processes that get people to communicate and collaborate together, metrics, and methods and tools. So we put these cylinders together. We start in our garage assembling this engine to optimize companies, and we build a rapid assessment around it that's free to anybody that takes it. Today it's manufacturing, could be healthcare. We have even one for MEPs, construction. I've literally done it with dentists and dentists and law firms. And so we start assembling this motor, and then we realize this is a Formula One race car. We're not racing street rods anymore. And there's no Formula One track in our area. So now let's take it to the Formula One tracks across the US. And we said, let's graduate this program. Let's put this car on the circuit, and let's put this car on the MEP circuit. And we do. And we enter our first race. Our first race was out of Oklahoma, and we did rather well there. Shout out to Dave Rowland, MEP, director and CEO of OMA. And we put it out on the course, and we start evolving it. And we don't just like a Formula One engine. You're always trying to optimize it. We're 3 years in that journey today, and it looks very different than it did 3 years ago. And anybody we've put the car on the track with, we have a longer relationship that you can span everything all the way to the front end of sales, to process improvement, to products, methods, to software, to coaching, to doing direct work with their clients. If it is a client that is much bigger than and more complex than they're used to servicing, we can, we will, but we always partner with the MEP. And so we just right, Summer, we started assembling the motor, and we said, it's time to take it out of state.
Yeah. Shane and I, we had the privilege of working with 4 states prior to exiting out of Colorado. We had Missouri, we had Oklahoma, Utah, and who am I missing, Shane? North Dakota. They came to Colorado. We did a pilot with them of what this model could look like in their hands. And they said, yes, we want it. And we said, okay, we have the option of staying in Colorado and serving one community, or we have the option to work with the national network and serve 51 communities. So we made that decision to transition. And since then, we've been working with probably about 10 MEPs. And it's a variety of things, right? So we either teach them how to use this model so that they can use it themselves and have a multiplier effect. Or we are working with them in licensing content. We have content that came from Shane's brain over the time of Intel, content that we've co-created with other MEP centers to help optimize their clients. And then we also have companies or MEPs that say, we need to expand our capability. So we want to use you guys as our service providers. And so we partner with them as a delivery agency to help them expand their capability. So we love the MEP. Whether we're working in it or with it, we will be a part of it.
Right. And a good example is last week we were in Kansas. Shout out to Tiffany and Donovan of the Kansas MEP, building a sub strategy for a networking group that's going to span 2 states, along with Dusty out of Missouri. And this week, right after a keynote we're doing on the skilled labor crisis, at 5 o'clock, we're hopping in a car, driving in the middle of Wyoming to, train the Wyoming MEP on how to wield the assessment to drive impact, client count, and their sales engine. And so It's a huge variety of things, like Summer's saying.
And next week, I'm going to be in Utah working with one of their clients and helping deliver a efficient factory design product. So I think I'm in 4 states this month alone working with MEP centers.
A lot of races, a lot of Formula
One. Nice. Man, all right, this is so good. All right, I know. All right, a couple great comments here. We've got Tom. Tom, happy New Year, dude.
Yeah.
Tom's in Syracuse. We've got Nicole. Nicole, thank you.
Hey, Nicole.
Sometimes you have to blow things up before you put them back together. She absolutely loves that. So, all right, I know people are they might have a call coming up. Can I jump ahead to you guys now? Not only do you know manufacturing, you speak manufacturing, you are manufacturers. Can I jump ahead? You guys have a manufacturing business. Can I jump into that right now? Just
absolutely.
In case people have a call at the top of the hour. I have a request. That whatever you're doing, if you're on the phone, email, you deserve it. Take a little break for a second. I'm going to share my screen. I'd love for you to check out something. So Damon, you let me know if you can see my screen. And now, how are we looking?
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
Shane, do you mind if I show this?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Damon, are you sitting down?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Look at where Shane is sitting, the room, that magnificent fireplace. And guys, as parents, I'm going to ask you to watch this video.
I'm not hearing the audio, Kurt.
That's the best part. Shane's given his best metallic.
You can't hear it?
No, I can't hear the audio.
All right. Why can't you hear the audio? Damon, could you do me a favor? All right. Bear with me. I'm going to drop this in the comment.
All right.
And I'll stop sharing. See if you can. I wonder why you guys can't hear that.
I don't know.
Grab that link and see if you can share it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a try.
So, all right, guys. So Shane is sitting in his home. It's 11 containers, and he's built this magnificent, incredible, wonderful home. And I'm curious.
Here we go. I'm gonna give it a try.
All right, see if you can share that. And guys, you have to watch this.
Yep. Here we go. I'm gonna give it a try. Share my screen. I want to share this. Is this the right screen? Right there?
Yes.
Oh, why is this not? There we go. Boom. Got it. So there we go. Hear it?
Should be music.
I can hear it.
So you can hear it. That was the same thing on my end. Like, we can't hear it.
Yeah. That is strange. Let me see one more thing. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't know why it's not.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Damon. If you don't mind, play around with that. I'm going to keep interviewing these guys.
You keep going, yeah.
Because if we can't, gosh, I've never had that happen before.
Never.
Shane can tell the story.
Shane can tell a story.
Shane can tell a story. I'm telling you, the video is very powerful.
I know it is. It is such a powerful video.
If I change the mirror, would that do it?
Maybe.
Okay. So Shane, let's do this. I apologize. Guys, do me a favor. I dropped a link in the chat box. Damon, I was so excited.
Oh, here we go. I got it now.
You got it?
I got it now.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it. Can you hear
Building something with your bare hands is gratifying, but doing it with others that are close, that you love and live with is amazing. And people say, homes can tear families apart. This pull us even closer together. This home's all about legacy. In 2017, we lost my son to cancer, and he was 20 years old. My son's name was Austin Wade Barber. He was, always wanting to stay honest to his craft, to his art. And we feel him with us every single day.
He would show how he felt through the way he carried himself immediately in whatever situation he was in.
Cole came to us and he said, I think we need to stay together. I think we need to stick together. We need to continue to get closer together than pull farther apart. Living in the Denver area was too expensive to buy. I've welded my whole life. My son, I taught how to weld. It's like, Dad, why don't we build a shipping container? We've always thought about it. And so we designed it out of foam, built a physical model. Then we had it drafted and drawn up. Day one was probably the proudest moment because we went from concrete to 11 containers stacked up, leveled, welded to the footing, and immediately you could see the result, just poking out of the earth. It gave us something to really rally around. And, building something with your hands, holding a MIG gun was my therapy. It was something where I could just be hoods down, not thinking about anything and lose myself in a weld. Originally, it was going to arc weld everything on the outside. And I was at the welding shop and I look over and I see this small blue box. And it intrigued me because it looked light. I mean, literally could climb a ladder with it. And I stopped using all other equipment. There wasn't one weld in this home not done with that 211. The build of this home not only was putting together 11 containers, but it was pulling together at the time 4 of us, then 5 of us, then 6 of us as grandchildren were born.
Just a couple days before he passed away, we knew he had mentioned that if he had ever had any babies, that he would have named his daughter Aura Ella. A month later, me and my husband got pregnant with our first daughter, and we decided that a special name for her would be Aura.
Everything we made from the moment I started welding gates as a child, we always left our little imprint on it somewhere in a creative sense. So I want to continue that down to my children as early as possible. I feel like we're already doing it. I have my daughter using a spray can at 4 years old, and we own an art gallery as a family where I raise my children more than I do at my house.
We get to see the grandkids every day, and it's healed our hearts for sure.
We never got to build anything this large of scale ever. He never got to see anything like that be built, but he would be very proud. And I think he would be more proud of how far we've come as a family.
You always think, oh, my kids are going to grow up. Will I see them again? Will I spend time with them? We're bonded. We're bonded like 2 pieces of metal. Now we're going to start working together. Today, housing inventory is so low, we're not about to catch up in 25 years. And our growing population needs places to live that are affordable. We're going to start building small carbon dwells on this very site. We'll lay down containers in this yard, keep building that smaller squared down version, father and son. These containers are literally built to withstand all the elements this world can throw at them. And our family have thrown over the last 3 years as much as we could at it and not a dent. It's built to last. It's going to be here well past my years, well past my grandchildren's years. This is my legacy I leave behind.
Fun stuff. Very cool.
So how about that?
Yeah.
And there's not a dry eye.
Yeah.
Shane, dude, first off, our thoughts, prayers to you, your family, tragic loss, and just how you turned. You know what? I was just on a call before this, and they talked about turning your terror into a treasure, turning, a mess into a miracle. Dude, like, you completely created a miracle here. Can you just share, look at this house you're in, how just the inspiration, the motivation, you, your son, your family, just share a little story behind here.
Yeah, literally. It was a passion from high school on. Mentors, right, just taking me all in this direction, turned that with my son. And we just decided, like that video says, too expensive to build. Our roots are in New Mexico. We were going to have to pack up and go home. And we said, no, let's take things into our own hands. It's like a welding gun, and let's do it. And it was less about building a house. It was more about, rebuilding our family. Miller Corporation, they saw that, they talked to me, and they said, hey, let's fly some folks out. And so in a 24-hour day, we started filming at 10 till 6 in the morning, didn't get done until 7 at night. Got that back, and that went worldwide, got over 1 million views on it. And today we're the face of Miller Welders. We're on every calendar. If you go to Miller Welders, watch that story, I'll give you a warning. It'll pop up and it'll say, man builds home with a welder, and da-da-da-da-da. And really all it was is taking our manufacturing roots and putting them to work. And for the last decade, manufacturers always, when you go into their plant, they're proud. They don't take any obstacle. It's a challenge, but they're not willing to lay down and walk away from it. And as a third party coming in, they're always challenging you. Skeptics. What do you know about manufacturing? You came from Intel. Oh, here we go. Some guy speaking a language that we need a glossary of terms on, kind of like lean. And we're down to earth, right? They're like, well, what have you built? I'm like, oh, shipping container home. Oh, tiny home, 4,100 square feet, 11 containers, 9 months and 1 week. Sure, tiny home, right? And I don't say it like that, but at the end of the day, we're tradesmen. And our company today is, Summer, myself, my son, the staff that works for us. We're all owners. We started in October when container prices came down, and here we are. And so, the message I think I'd like folks to hear is our roots are in manufacturing, whether it be starting at the IT world, starting as a welder, to systems, processes, people. At the end of the day, we build it for us, by us. And when we walk into a plant, we want to be a partner, not a consultant, not a resource. We want to be a partner for life, not on their payroll. We want to come in and quick as a surgical resource to address the pain, assess the pain, put a fix in place, transform them, and then get out of the way and teach them how to sustain it. Good consultants do that. Good partners do that. Other ones want to stay on the payroll. And so we can go into aerospace. We can go into, 2 weeks from now, I'm at a major hospital in Michigan, and we're doing the same kind of rigor we do. And everybody is a production facility, whether you produce yarn, whether you produce, dentistry procedures, you have procedures. You just need to link their people up to it. So we're for you, by you. We're partners, not consultants. We can either help an MEP, be an extension of them, direct to client. But we're passionate about what we do. If you don't see that in that video, we're passionate. We can't turn it off.
Hard to notice.
Yeah, Kurt, I've spent my last 6 years with Shane trying to keep him focused.
She's an interpreter. She's a manager. She's like, over here. I'm like,
yeah,
look at what we can do right there.
Well, you guys are yin and yang. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to mention it again. So I had the honor and privilege of meeting Summer and Shane, this wonderful rock band in Chicago at the MEP National Conference. And Damon, you're kind of getting an idea of who's the extrovert, who's the introvert. So what do? I run over to Summer. I'm like, hey, Summer, I'm doing a LinkedIn Live right now. Why don't you come over? And she's like, kicking and screaming. And she's like, no, get Shane. And like he was talking to somebody else. I'm like, come on, let's go. And so she graciously came over and jumped on the microphone. And so we did a LinkedIn Live together. It was just an honor and privilege meeting you guys. And so I wanted to have some time to spend here. Shane, I'm going to come back to you in one more minute. Your family, just what an inspirational story. It's just so touching, man. I'm thank you for, having the courage to share that with the world and sharing it with us. Summer, I want to come back to you as an entrepreneur. Again, Shane, shared how, hey, he was at Intel, big corporate umbrella, and just, that's a little bit of scary. He was ready to go, but a little bit scary. Here right out of college, you worked at the MEP at Manufacturer's Edge, steady paycheck, kind of doing your thing for X number of years. What was it like for you when you ripped off that Band-Aid and took that leap?
So, Kurt, I did it's a dirty little secret. I did leave the MEP in the middle of my 24 years, and I went to run a medical manufacturing company. I wanted to prove to myself that the systems, methods, and tools we were telling manufacturers to use actually worked. So I left and I ran a medical device company. We were purchased by our competitor, and I figured that's a great time to come back. Now I have the practical application side. Now I'm going to come back. So I did spend 24 years with the MEP, but I did take a sabbatical, as I call it. I'm the risk adverse one. But once we got those 4 states together and started having conversations about how this model works, and there were times where I would go in with Shane, we would draw kind of the basics on the board, and we saw CEOs taking pictures of what we put on the board and asking us to leave it. And do you have copies of that? It started resonating that there's something here that is bigger than ourselves. And so when we got those 4 states together and they all said, we want that, we said, okay, it's a risk, but it's a calculated risk because we already had MEPs that said this will work in my state. And we said, great, then we will take that leap of faith. We'll start with you guys and we'll see where this goes. And it has grown substantially.
Yeah, it has. And what I did, guys, is I dropped your website. I dropped it in earlier, just dropped it again. So check out Shane and Summer's website is absolutely phenomenal. If you are connected with an MEP out there, we love our MEPs. You absolutely want it. And you're not familiar with their program, their processes, go to their website. As a matter of fact, you have a page dedicated to the MEP centers. I will drop that in the chat box as well. And let me do that right now while I'm thinking of it. And so if you're an MEP center out there, boy, definitely reach out to these guys. So anybody out there, please drop us a note, connect with these guys on LinkedIn. You can, man, you're just telling the inspiration here. Shane, I'm going to come back. A lot of folks today, what I love, what came out of COVID, in the past, we really couldn't, vulnerability or empathy, curiosity, like these are words that you hear a lot now. And maybe, I don't know if COVID really inspired this. And when I saw the video with you and the story that you share with what's going on with your family and what you bring to manufacturing, my goodness, did you say great grandfather?
Yeah.
It's in your DNA, it's in your blood. Just share a little bit about what this whole mission, what everything manufacturing, this new business, this legacy to yourself, your son, your family, just share a little bit about what this means to you.
Yeah, I think there's a distinct difference of character of people that surround themselves in a manufacturing environment, right? Again, when they run up against an obstacle, there's no option not to deal with it. And it's just in your fundamental belief system. We don't just go, oh man, we just had a tool go down and we got to call that manufacturer and tell them that we can't ship it. No, man, you burn the midnight oil and you get it across the finish line. Right. And that is a certain character that transcends industry, transcends employers, transcends companies. It's life lessons. And it's like I mentioned, the biggest magnet on my refrigerator is my kindergarten magnet that says I worked at Intel, and I soaked everything up for a rainy day. And some cultures are for people, some cultures aren't. And that culture was matched my ADHD, my energy level, my intensity. And I was able to run free. And, sometimes I went into the darkness to blow stuff up. Right. But at the end of the day, I just love the people in manufacturing, love the impact, love to see you walk in. Last year, this time, we walked into a plant. They hadn't been profitable in 67 years. 3 generations, right? They'd paid themselves all that great stuff. And in 2 months, we had our first profitable month, second month, next profitable month. And we tuned them up to sell them, and they sold 4 months later. And they are happily retired and have a very different life, but a lifestyle they built with their generations, as my grandfather did. And so it's what we do. And it's what we do, and it's what we do different. There's tons of process control experts out there. They're amazing at what they do. You need a glossary of terms and a rule book. What is a Kaizen? What is this? What is that? Our feel is if you got to invent a definition and a glossary to run side by side with them. Oops, we're simple, we're easy. We can get down on the concrete and we can deliver to the people that work the hardest there, because those are the people on the concrete that get that product across. So it's culture, it's dynamics, it's DNA, it's people, it's character. And I think once you're bitten by that, it doesn't leave. And so that's why. That's my why. Changing people's lives, one process improvement and people improvement at a time.
Mic drop.
Okay. So if you guys are new to the show, we do these little things called moments of silence. So like when somebody drops like a massive bomb, we just need to like savor that for a moment, Shane. So thank you for sharing that wisdom, that brilliance, that inspiration. So speaking of inspiration, I want to be mindful of everybody's time. All right. First off, thank you both. It's just such an honor and privilege to connect with you guys. Honor and privilege to hear your story, your passion, everything that you guys are doing. Summer, I'm hitting you with one last question. I don't know. Damon, I always say last question. I have like 10 more, but I could talk with these guys all day. So, all right. Summer, as we're now in 2023, and just, you took me through your processes, went through the whole thing. Absolutely love it. If you're a manufacturer out there, you need to connect with these guys. Contact your local MEP. They'll get you connected to these guys, or vice versa. So, Summer, as we're in 2023, I asked you who your hero was, and it was Mom.
Yep.
Who is your inspiration coming into 2023? Who or what is your inspiration coming into 2023?
I think for me, it's transition from the past generation to the future generation. I'm a parent myself. I have a 17-year-old that's going off to college next year. And so helping think about that future. I have a 13-year-old that's going to start high school next year. And so I think for me, it's taking what I've learned in the past from the past generations and all their wealth, knowledge, and experiences, and helping my kids figure out their course.
Drop the mic.
There you go.
That was the next generation.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know if we've had that one. That was Summer. Great answer. Shane, awesome. I'm coming at you, brother. Same question. Dude, you are just such an inspiration on so many levels. 2023, I know we were just introduced to your family, your beautiful wife, grandkids. What is your inspiration for 2023?
I view the same sentiment Summer said about how do we span generations. Manufacturing is a dying art. Let's be honest. Walk in a plant, see if you find anybody that's 23, right? There's this huge disparity. Young people coming in, and then salty old crusty dogs like myself, right? And you got to get those together. And everybody complains about Gen Y, Z, elemental P, QRS. But at the end of the day, it's time to drop that difference. It's trying to hand down those generations. I got a 4-year-old granddaughter, a 2-year-old grandson. And when I'm breaking out tools, they're right there with me. If we don't work side by side with everybody, we are not going to fill the skilled labor gap. It's not going away. It started happening in the 80s, and I was in high school in the 80s, and that I walked back into that classroom where my mentor taught me how to weld and everything else. And that was an English class when my youngest son went there. And so the trades were plucked and pulled. And so that's part of it. Another one is disruptors. Disrupt the norm, man. We had a major disruptor 2 years ago. It hasn't gone. It's just changed, and we're disrupting. And today, things cannot be done the same way they were done tomorrow, and that's what plagues manufacturing as well, right? Hey, let's do the same process over and over, expect a different result. That's called insanity loop, right? So, blow it up, put it back together. If you can do it yourself, go for it. If you can't, ask for help. Peers and partners, whoever that is. But at the end of the day, we got to look at things differently with the skills we have today, with the generations to come. But we cannot replicate. And even if we could, why would you want to do that? Blow it up, cut holes in it, build it, they will come kind of deal, right?
Mic drop.
Yep.
All right. So, we'll wind down. So guys, I dropped your website, connect with these guys on LinkedIn. Boy, if you're catching this on replay, please go back, man, watch the video. And so again, we've got CEO Summer just doing amazing work at the Business Excellence Group. We've got Carbon Dwell. Shane, thank you for sharing your inspirational story and just, how you've turned this into just I can't express my respect, my admiration to you, your family, what you're doing. So God bless you, brother. Thank you. Guys, how about if you guys, thank you for sticking with us. If you've been sitting down for the past, what are we at, Damon? 50 minutes right now on the spot. I invite you, welcome you, encourage you, stand up, get a little stretch, and let's give a big roaring round of applause to Shane and Summer and Shane, these two rock stars. We're going to talk about starting their band as soon as we get off here. So guys, connect with them on LinkedIn, check out their website, go to both their websites. That's in the chat box. And so we wish you, man, Damon, this year, I think if things like what we just had on Friday with Allison DeFord, she's a big advocate for the MEP network. We've got these guys. We've got a big advocate for the MEP on this coming Friday on our upcoming show. So guys, this is going to be an amazing, incredible year. Go out and be someone's inspiration, man. If this is exactly what Summer and Shane are doing.
Blowing some things up. That was the phrase of the day for me.
Blow it up.
Blow some things up.
Blow some things up. Thank you all for a great session. Tom, thank you guys.
Thanks, Tom.
So we're going to wind down. Summer, Shane, hang out with us for 1 second. God bless everybody. Wish you an amazing, incredible week.
Have a great week.
And fire, man. We're just blowing things up.
If you feel, give me fire. Thanks, everybody.